Almost every duo tournament you play, either you or your teammate is going to end up playing an endgame as a solo. It just happens. So to help you guys perform in those situations, I'm gonna let you guys get inside my mind on solo clutching. We're checking out 3 endgames, starting with this one, which is an absolute stacker. So we're sprinting this rotate and I see Ken getting beamed from the side, so I immediately start blocking off that angle for myself, but Ken goes down, so I don't even go to his body because I know he fell down layers and there's probably a team already on him. Instead, I keep moving and I follow this team that's tarping ahead of me because they're not even looking back at me. But I'm keeping my eyes on them just in case. As soon as they turn, I know I need to start blocking that angle. After I get based up here, I'm able to scout ahead of me and I see that there's just full tarps ahead. So I'm literally just going to sprint over top of these, but I'm not going to run over the box that they're in because they'll probably just drop me down and double pump me. So right here, you can see once I'm getting close to this final box, that's when I jump up and make my own lair. Now, whenever you're paused on your rotate, you need to be extra aware because teams will oftentimes just full send you if they see a person in a 1x1 because they think it's a solo. So I'm just being super aware, and if I see somebody start tarping towards me as a duo, I'm gonna run away. This game, I am way below Surge, so I'm just not even gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna try to out heal it because I have so many heals. There's just no way I'm gonna get 400 damage dealt as a solo. I am low on mats though, so while I'm paused here, I'm trying to look for maybe another solo that I can attack. Sure enough, somebody literally tarps right in front of me, and that's just a free kill. I start breaking out like immediately after, get all the stuff I need, and I see somebody spraying across my own lair. He's spraying from the right, so I block those angles and then I try to get off this lair so I'm not caught in the middle of these two teams. When I'm sprinting ahead on low ground here, it's pretty free, but it starts to get congested once I get to the end of the sprint, so I base. I pause and wait till I see a free rotate again because I'm not just gonna sprint into a whole congested area blindly. Whenever I'm paused, I'm not just sitting there, I'm scouting ahead and looking around me for potential kills. The way I tarp this next zone is pretty crucial to understand. I'm blocking my back because that's the angle I have no information on. I'm sure there's people behind me, but I can't really turn around and stare at them, so I just place ramps behind me any chance I get and try to keep that angle blocked. While I'm doing that, I'm looking forward to try to see what people ahead of me are looking back. If you keep your eyes ahead, you can see when people edit on you and you can go ahead and build ramps to block that. Looking ahead also gives you opportunities to scout and find a good lair before you even get there. At this point here, when I went up, I made sure I blocked the front, but I immediately dropped down because I don't want them to notice that I'm a solo here. It's a whole entire metal tarp, there's probably a duo in there, and they're probably pretty kitted, so I'm not gonna sit on their lair, I go down one. At this point, I'm not in yet, but I see a whole entire open area behind me. And I'm like, dude, there's probably gonna be a solo sprinting from that direction. Sure enough, there was, and I got a free kill on that guy. I could have ran to that loot, but it would have put me in a worse position for my next rotate. He definitely only had siphon mats because he wasn't building, and there might have been people holding me from above. So I just kept my loot and kept moving forward. Right here, I do decide to base next to this metal tarp, but this positioning was just too good to pass up. I had clear views down below me on back edge of zone, and if they started pushing me, I could easily drop because underneath me was fully free as well. I also wanted to be elevated because you can see there's a mountain here, and if it pulls that way, it's going to be scuffed on low ground. At this point, I'm low on mats, so I am heavy looking for a refresh. I'm just sprint rotating, boxing, and looking around me constantly trying to find people that look vulnerable, like in a wood tarp, or look like a solo, and I fight them. This Chrome AR literally breaks builds so fast, so I'm keeping pressure on this solo here. At this point, Ken tells me to play splash if I don't see a clear rotate. So I edit open my side here so I can scout in that direction, and I see that this guy above me is healing. And I'm like, he might come back into this box. Sure enough, he did, and I got a free kill on him. I don't have the most splash left, so I kind of just like leap into the zone, which was a little bit of a risky play, but honestly, even now I don't really see a clear path. I think what I did was fine. And immediately as I get based, I hear somebody in storm behind me, so he's just gonna be blindly running in as well. Knowing that, I hold a trap on him. I hit him once and then he blocks that angle, but I'm like, dude, he's in storm, he's definitely gonna panic and just edit again. Sure enough, he did. I rushed to pick up these mats and missed some of them, which was a big choke. So when I'm in this zone, I have to go full rat mode and I start just crouch walking behind builds with my pump out. You're gonna get in this situation all the time if you're solo clutching, so you just literally have to walk through builds with your gun out. And this is where I went wrong. I broke left more towards the center of the zone when I should have just stayed this right side and broken through the brick that was on the right edge of zone. If I would have have done that, I probably could have clutched up a top 3, but this was literally a crazy clutch.
That was a great clutch, bro. Oh my god.
Thank you, bro. The next one we're going to be checking out is a little bit less stacked, but just as important. This was our first game of EU, and if we didn't have a good start here, it would be so rough trying to catch up. This clutch starts with me rotating around builds, tanking a little bit of storm, but it was so free over here that I had to do it. But then I see this loot, and I go to block it off and claim it, but somebody gets in my box. So I just 50-50'd that kill. I probably could have done it a little bit more careful, but we got a double refresh to start this. This left side was completely dead, so I just kept on rotating on that side. Almost got accidentally jumped by somebody, but I just kept sticking to that side and got in. Whenever I'm going across an open area like this where there's nobody and I'm just chroming across it, I always make sure to use my dashes at that point, because you don't want to be caught in that mid-open area and get shot out of your chrome when everybody can see you. So I use my dashes to get across that fast. On the contrary, when I'm going through tighter areas like this right here, I go slow and I try to be really calculated with my dashes and save them for when I really need them. I dash across into this open area, so I use another dash right away and then jump out immediately because I'm in the wide open area. If I have the mats, I'm always going to make an extra box for myself just in case somebody pushes my wall, I can back up into that other box. And it makes it easier to peek people back edge of zone. On this next rotate, I actually get up layers with the chrome, and the reason is I'm trying to get on my own layer. What I do is rotate front with the chrome and try to claim a layer that hasn't already been claimed. There was someone on low ground and second from low ground, so I went third from low ground. But you can see when I have chrome, basically it's just a cycle of using the chrome to get ahead of everybody, front edge of zone, make a base, then wait for the next rotate while kind of looking around me, maybe getting some kills. On my next rotate, I get sandwiched against this mountain a little bit. I should have been a few layers up. I should have realized that it was going up mountain, or maybe Ken comms it, and then I would have landed up more layers and not been as squished. But I work with what I got and I try to get up from where I am, and I have no more chrome at this point. I managed to get up, and then I'm trying to claim a place on the front edge of zone. I start to cut left here under these builds, but then I see there's a player on my left and in front of me. So I'm like, no, that is not the play, and I stay on the right edge of zone. At this point, I'm under 200 mats, and this is where I really start to look for a refresh, especially since it's getting to the later points in the game and there's a lot of solos. Ken's commenting me how many players are left, how many teams, how many solos. I managed to get this kill on back edge of zone, and of course I'm going to tank zone a little bit to get that, and there was a med miss there. So I immediately start playing the med mist, and I know if it ever gets a little bit too sketch, I'm going to play the med mist for the rest of the game and try to clutch up higher placement. But I have a lot of mats, so I'm not going to rush the med mist play. I want to try to claim a good layer for myself and utilize these mats before forcing the med mist play. Sure enough, I get in and I claim a low ground layer so I'm not second to height, and from there I'm just trying to frag around me. I just use these mats all the way until the point where I'm in second place, and then I'm just trying to do a 1v2 for the win.
That kid's weak. He's popping minis. $400 builds. You're chilling. Reload that pump. Top 3 now. It's a 1v2.
Let's go. Now the last game we're checking out here is a lot more dead of a lobby, but there's some important notes from this game. You can see I have almost max mats here. When in this type of situation and you're a solo, you pretty much just want to play these mats to the fullest. Building everything, making sure that you just don't fight until you're in second place. Unless you got a free kill on back edge zone, but I was really weak, so I don't want to give anybody a chance to shoot me, and I just want to fully play these mats so that I can get us as much placement as possible. You can see right here I actually chrome my box, and there's one wall that's not chromed. Most people would just edit out that wall and go that way, but I saw there's somebody else based up next to it, and they're probably waiting for me to edit there. So I break the other side and play it safe because I have all these mats and I can just full build in that direction. At the very end of the game, I have a lot of space to move with and a lot of mats to use, and I actually should have 2v1 these guys, but I was on EU here and I just kept not getting my shots off in time. But yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, maybe took something away from it. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, sub if you're new, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.